All right, boys, today we're going to be talking about the best users in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. I do want to go ahead and start off this video by saying I am not going to be covering any safeties today. I think linebackers are a lot better users, especially with that lurk RS for 0. And we're going to go ahead and get it started right here with someone that could say it's a little bit higher, and I'll explain why. I'm going to have Fred Warner at number 10. Now, keep in mind, by the way, too, this is specifically the player user. I don't think of Fred Warner as a user. I think of him as a coverage player, but I think he still can be effective as a user. Now, he's 95 speed, 97 acceleration. I know the speed for some people they say is a little bit lower, but he's also 6'3", so has some good height. That's really all we're looking for from a user standpoint. But let's talk about him from a coverage standpoint. Why I don't think, again, he's that great of a user. His value as a zone coverage defender just can't be understated. He also has play ball and air aggressive, which when you're usering someone, obviously doesn't matter. When they're AI coverage player, they react to the ball a little bit faster, and this is really, really nice. Now, the reason why I don't think he is a user is because of his abilities, but this also could be the reason why you user him. I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but lurk artist mid zone for 0. I think he is the best linebacker in the game. Now, what you have to do though when you user him is don't put your user on a blitz. Like a lot of people do that to get like just so the game registers them like sending 4 if they're sending 3, or if they're sending 4 for them to register like send 5. You know what I'm saying? Like a user hover. You would want to keep him in a zone, and he can actually get some knockouts over the middle of the field. Like he can knock out some stuff like if you're trailing a little bit behind. So that is valuable. Don't get me wrong. I just again think of him just as a perfect coverage player right now. That's why he is a little bit lower for me on my user list. And now at number 9 right here, I'm gonna have Rob Gronkowski, and he's 6'6", so he's still tall. Now again, at this point, 94 speed just really isn't the best, but good acceleration, good agility, good change of direction. He even fits a role as well if you want to use him like a defensive end type of role, where he has some power moves, has some finesse moves, can be a pass rusher that you drop into a zone as well. Good block shit, good impact blocking, great man, great zone as well. So again, he still has good coverage stats, but I do think of him purely as a user at this point. Again, does have that play ball and air aggressive though, so he is still good as just like a regular sub linebacker, not a user. But for his abilities, he does get X factors like avalanche and mid zone, but in my opinion, I wouldn't really run these at this point. I think we have better X factor players in the game, but he does get lurk artist for 0, and that's really the main thing we want to see. So Gronk, he's tall, has some decent physical stats. I think he's still a pretty solid user. And now right above him, I can see you going either which way, but Harold Carmichael, I know he isn't fast at this point. 93 speed, 90 acceleration, 93 agility, 94 change direction. The thing on the card though is, right, he's 6'8". You just like, there is just times, man, where he just gets to balls that no one else in the game can because of his height. I feel like he is just an unreal player model for a user. And again, I get the speed, I get the acceleration. This is personally my no money spent user. I think he is just insane value as well. Currently going for around 100K, 80K on Xbox, but 100K on PlayStation. But he does have 90 man, 90 zone as well. But at this point, I do think of him just as a strict user. Now for his abilities, he can get the lurk artist for 0 AP. So again, I'm just a big fan of the card. Again, the 6'8" is a big thing, right? Like there really isn't much else, and he does have play ball and air aggressive. So he was really great for his time as well as a coverage player. But at this point, I think he's just a straight up user. Now, this one right here might surprise some people, but I'm gonna have TJ Edwards. Now, TJ Edwards actually gets a really nice ability stack. Again, he's 6'1", 95 speed, 94 acceleration, 91 agility, 95 change direction. So pretty similar stats wise to Fred Warner. But again, I would think of him actually as a straight up user. 80 power moves, so it doesn't really fit the role we were talking about with Gronk, but great zone coverage, block shed, impact blocking, also solid. And again, play ball and air aggressive. It's actually so rare for linebackers, and I think everyone we covered so far does have play ball and air aggressive. But this time for his abilities, obviously no X factor, gets double discounts, and what I think is really valuable, right? Lurk artist for 0, and then enforcer for 0. So you get a tackling ability on top of that, meaning if you land hit sticks with them, you're gonna tackle them. So I do like that a lot, especially versus like these pre-lit running backs, just getting something to help you, you know what I'm saying? So like TJ Edwards a lot in this type of role. Again, just gotta time your hit sticks, and he's gonna be a beast for you. I think he's honestly probably the most underrated user in the game. And now after that, I'm gonna have ChuckHyde right here, the Super Bowl promo. I debated on him versus TJ Edwards a lot because he is just way better from a physical stats standpoint. He's 6'2", and with the lighted up token, gonna be 97 speed, 97 acceleration, 92 agility, 96 change direction. No lighted up token, gonna be 96 speed, I believe, 96, just pretty much all -1s. Also fits that role we talked about with Gronk that could potentially be a pass rusher that drops into a zone. Great block check, great impact blocking, great man coverage, great zone coverage, and again, play ball and air aggressive. But now when we talk about his abilities, first off, he can get the universal coverage for 1 AP, which is kind of crazy. Like if you are using him with universal, I think that is pretty like he's a great coverage player too, kind of like Fred Warner, but does take away an X factor spot elsewhere on defense, so that kind of hurts, but it is a great X factor. Now for his abilities though, he can get lurk artist for 0 AP. The flat zone for 1 again could be a decent coverage player for you too. You could go mid zone, flat zone, and what's called lurk artist for 3 AP total. I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong. I really like ChuckHyde a lot. And again, I just think now he's just a user and I feel like he moves super smooth. I also want to give an honorable mention to like Chris Collinsworth. I just wish this card right here got lurk artist for 0, but 95 speed, 6'5". Just looking at the card, man, he looks like a beast. But let's move on to number 5 right here. I'm going to talk about Dion Jones. Now, I think again, if it's not TJ Edwards, I think this card is actually the most slept on user or piece on defense. So 94 acceleration, 93 agility, 98 change direction, all look pretty solid, but as power moves, you know, he could kind of do the role we talked about. The block shit isn't great. The impact blocking is good. Great zone coverage defender. And again, play ball in air aggressive. But the reason why he's on the list for me is again, his abilities. Now he can get lurk artist for 0, but also unfakeable for 0. Now there's, I don't want to say like a huge issue, but there's a really big problem in the game, I think, with juking and just like your defenders actually being dumbed out by jukes, especially jukebox, evasive, you know what I'm saying? Unfakeable will not get dumbed out by that. So I think that's really nice, especially on the user as well. So you can just basically like gap shoot, not have to worry about them juking back. Like you can just make the tackle, or this could also be a great AI defender with that as well. So I really like that stack on him. And again, just some stuff to really help foresees X factor running backs that can break the first tackle, or the jukebox running back that just pretty much dumbs out your defense. Now at number 4 right here, I'm going to have Trey Edmonds. Now this is one of my personal favorite cards in the game, period. And he's 6'5", 94 speed, 95 acceleration. Not really a pass rusher, so doesn't fit that role, but great block shed, impact blocking a little bit weak, but 90 zone coverage, and this time play ball and air balance. Now you can user him. I think he's a great piece, just a coverage piece, period. He does get avalanche as an X factor shutdown, but I wouldn't really run these two. I don't think they're great X factors because of their deactivation conditions. But we look at the card, okay? So coverage player wise, could get flat zone, mid zone, lurk artist for 3 AP, which I do like, especially if you're running like a 6-1 style defense. But just as a user, what I would run, lurk artist and secure tackler this time for 0. Really like that a lot. Again, kind of like what I was saying about unfakeable. Secure tackler says, hey, we're going to get down that, what's called a glowing running back the first time. They're not going to break our tackle, right? So I really like that a lot on the card. And that's why I think he's such a great user, man. Just from an ability standpoint, gets 2 of the best things that can really help deal with this meta of offense we're seeing. But again, kind of why he's lower for me is because I think of him more as a coverage player, because again, I would go secure tackler, lurk artist, and mid zone for 1 AP on him. And I just think that is an unreal stack. Now I debated having this card on the list or not. That's why he's at number 3. Like you could completely disregard him. Like if we had left off Xavier Collins, I would then add what's called Luke Kuechly to the list. He like narrowly missed it. It's like Luke Kuechly versus Carmichael and Gronk. It's like speed versus height, you know. I think it's 2 different things. Also Patrick Willis, I think of him more as a coverage player than a user. But yeah, I really like these cards as like pure linebackers, and they deserve like honorable mentions at least. But let's talk about Xavier Collins real quick. And I actually want to pull up his LTD card because I think this card just is unreal besides being a user. Like 97 speed, 96 acceleration, great pass rusher, block shed, impact blocking is amazing, great man, great zone, and for his traits, play ball and air aggressive. Again, I think there's been one linebacker that doesn't get that, but abilities this time, this is where I think he really stands out in the game. You get the combo of lurk artist, mid zone, and edge strut elite for 1 AP. So as a user, just like a lurk artist player, that's fine. But I think his best role is being a hybrid defender, like defensive end, where you can occasionally drop him into zones. You can occasionally rush him because again, he gets that edge strut elite, that mid zone, that lurk artist. He is going to be unreal, man. He's going to be really good with that stack. And also he's the first outside linebacker that I've seen that gets this stack. So you could play him at defensive end too with that mid zone, drop him into hooks, and he'll get reaction time. So I think he's just going to be unreal as a coverage player. That's why I personally have Isaiah Simmons as my number 2 user. Now, this is going to be like, I don't know if it'll be a hot take or not, but I think number 1 and number 2, it's like 1A, 1B, but Isaiah Simmons, 6'4", 97 speed, 93 acceleration, 97 agility, 94 change direction. Obviously, we'll have the height on our number 1 card. The block shed, impact blocking, man and zone is also great as well. And he also has play ball and air aggressive, but abilities this time. So from an X factor standpoint, avalanche, bottleneck, don't love. Also, I wouldn't pay for lurk artists, especially when it's 0 AP on the card, but just base abilities, you could go lurk artist for 0. I wouldn't really recommend anything else. Like you could go mid zone lurk artist for 2. I don't hate that either if you want to use him as a coverage player, but just a lurk artist player. And again, the thing he has over our number 1 card is that 6'4" height, but Bo Jackson is going to be number one. This is my user, and the reason why I think he's so great, okay? So first off, 6'1", 227, obviously not like the tallest in the game, but these physical stats right here, I think he can get to things that no one else can. He can keep up with people like no one else can as well. He can also be a pass rusher for you as well if you do want to use him like that, but block shed, impact blocking, man and zone, all great. Also play ball and air aggressive as well. So all these cards are great what's called coverage players as well. This time for X Factor, gets dual threat, which is actually kind of nice. And again, this is every single KO, or it's kind of like unstoppable force. So this is a great ability right here too that I've seen a lot of people use. And this time for abilities though, the reason why he's here for me, lurk artist, secure tackler. So kind of like what I was saying about Trey Edmonds, I just think he's better than Trey Edmonds because of the way he moves. And yeah, boys, this has been my thoughts on the best users in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. Who do you think should go up? Who do you think should come down? Who do you guys think I snubbed off the list? Now, if you guys did enjoy the video though, you enjoy content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Stay updated with the best cards in Madden. Now, if you guys do want to go ahead and see me use some of these users live, I stream every single day, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. I stream on YouTube and Twitch as well. To watch on the YouTube, make sure to hit that noti bell as well. You'll be notified every time I upload or go live here. Or to watch on the Twitch, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with the follow. But if you guys do want another video to watch, check out this one right here because I rank the best defensive tackles in Madden 24.